Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and in this episode we are checking out FlightSim Studios Tecnam P2012 Traveler. This aircraft is highly featured and highly detailed, guys, and I think you're going to absolutely enjoy it. We're going to be taking our first ever flight in the aircraft. I've done a little bit of preliminary studying and things like that, but I want to make sure that the first impressions that you guys hear from me are genuine. Nothing's rehearsed and scripted as always, so stick around to find out what this aircraft's all about with me. If you are interested in acquiring any of my Overkills tutorial guides from Microsoft Flight Simulator, or simply interested in supporting the channel, please consider joining us on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides, as well as any future releases that come down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below. Okay, guys, so jumping right into it, let's talk about a few things that you're going to want to be aware of when it comes to this particular aircraft. First off, it does have a fully functional and integrated Microsoft Flight Simulator checklist. It has a quick checklist reference card that can be found in the door, which you guys will see here in a little bit. And as well as they have a link to a website, their own website, that has all of the actual documentation for the aircraft, such as emergency procedures, normal procedures, basically things right out of the pilot's operational handbook. But the really cool thing about it is they also, with the installed material, you will find a video that actually walks through the actual flight and startup process with the real Tecnam P2012 Traveler. You get to see the aircraft in action in real life and then compare it to the sim. I highly recommend that you guys check that out. Again, it's in the installation directory, and you guys will be very, very surprised at just how awesome this aircraft really is in relationship to its real world counterpart. Without any further delay or talk on, guys, let's go ahead and jump in the cockpit, and we're going to start walking through the checklist and get the aircraft fired up, go for a quick flight around my hometown of Tucson here, bring it back in for a landing, and then we'll talk about final thoughts. Hope you guys enjoy. Let's get rolling. All right, so here we are jumping into the cockpit, you guys. You can see the texturing and modeling of this aircraft is absolutely fantastic. Fully modeled circuit breakers, every button and switch you guys can see in this aircraft, at least that I have interacted with thus far, works as expected. That is a camera issue, not an issue with the aircraft. There we go. Look at that, went away. Apparently I need to change that camera position. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get started right into it. I'm going to start out by just closing up the passenger door, the first officer door here. And here is the quick reference checklist that I was going to talk about. Now, really cool thing about how they did this particular checklist here. So you have a couple different options as far as stowing it. So obviously you can hit the X and it takes it back to where it was. Bringing it back up again, you can hit the little folder and it brings it down into the cubby here. So it brings up, so I guess it's not a folder, it's a cubby. And then obviously you can flip it around for, you have all of your air speeds, your different performance numbers, and then you have also obviously your shutdown and departure or landing checklists. So let's go ahead and come back over here. Again, this is what we're going to be using for today's flight. There will be far more detailed flights with this aircraft, you guys, but I will go through everything on this checklist as we get through it. So we're going to go just right from the start. So let's get started. So aircraft flight end documentations are on board, as we can tell here. The fire extinguisher is okay. Green arc. Check this out. It's actually not okay. But we won't tell as long as you guys don't. But if we come over here, there's our fire extinguisher, unfortunately showing a need to be recharged. I have not seen any tips or tricks or click spots or anything that indicates I should recharge it. But if that's in there, maybe it's something I'm missing. That would be pretty cool. All right, so now we're going to make sure that the brakes, we do a quick test. So I'm going to release the parking brake. Brake pedals responding. Let's go ahead and throw it back into the park position. And coming back up, circuit breakers. So let's come on up. Back up just a little bit. All circuit breakers are in, and just like any of the other aircraft where they're modeled, you want to make sure that you guys check this very thoroughly. Now, I do not actually know if failures have been modeled in this aircraft in this particular version yet, but I do know that the circuit breakers are functioning. So ignition switches. All right, so coming back up top, ignition switches. Let's move forward here. This is actually the off position. There we go. So that was turned on. This is now off. So stepping back in, and let's see here. Now we want the master and left hand and right hand cross switches turned on. So let's go ahead and do that. So there's the master switch. There's the cross left hand, cross right hand. Stepping back down to their checklist here, you can see the avionics coming on. Lights, we want all lights turned on. So let's flip them all on. There we go. And flaps, we want to cycle those. So we're going to watch our flap indicator as soon as I bring up my MFD here. There we go. And where's my flap indicator? I promise I know where it is. Oh my gosh, right in front of my face. There is the flap indicator. So here we go. Let's go ahead and cycle through those. Oh, you know what? I think my SPAD.next crashed on me. It totally did. All right, so let me get that up and started, and while that's going, we'll just use the old switcheroo. There we go. And I would imagine you would also be visually monitoring the flap position as well. Make sure as much as possible over the sound of my beautiful voice, you guys are also listening to the sounds. The sounds were taken directly out of the real aircraft. Really great job with the recordings. You guys know I've said it a bunch of times, that sound is just as important as anything else. Okay, now I am going to real quick test that SPAD is operating now. Yep, there we go. All right, there we go. So we have everything working now. Okay, and now that we've done that, let's go ahead and work on our walk around. Now, let's see here. Do I have all the reds on and everything? I do. All right, so now we're going to move over to the tablet. The tablet by default is not turned on. You simply click on the screen and you are presented with this. Okay, so you have your map view. Now we're going to go straight into the pre-flight. So we're going to get into these guys as we get to each section here. Okay, so we're just going to start a walk around. Now, you can do this a couple of different ways. You can come back and forth to the cockpit. I highly recommend setting up a custom view that takes you directly to this tablet, as well as a couple other custom views that I'll show you guys later on. But let's go ahead and just begin. Now, it's not as thorough as, for example, the A2A Comanche. It's not near as detailed as that yet. I don't know if that's a plan later on and if this is going to be further enhanced, but it still adds quite a bit to it. Now, to get to what I do is I go to the initial spot. We're actually going to start over here. I'm going to start with the right wing, and we're just going to sort of work our way around the aircraft. Now, some of this can take a little bit longer, but by doing it this way, just because the camera movement is so slow, and you guys will see what I'm talking about here in just a second. Let's go ahead and get over there. So click here. This is where we're going to begin. So first, I'm going to remove the tie down. We're going to check the aileron while we're here. Okay. And then we're just going to slowly start working our way around the aircraft, right? And again, the reason why the camera is so slow is because this is not the drone. This is actually the internal cockpit camera. So it's the same camera speed that we get inside the plane, and therefore the same controls. Gosh darn it, what is my problem here? It helps when you hit the right one. There we go. Holy mercy, we can tell the landing light is working just fine. All right, so we're getting over to the landing light. Past that, getting to the engine. Now, as far as the prop, we want to just give it a nice spin. To check the fuel and oil right now, let's actually get above it here. Move back over here to the click spot. You click right there. That checks fuel and oil for the moment. The tire, click on it, simulates you kicking it, and then remove the chock. And let's keep on working our way around. So as we get to the nose of the aircraft, I'm going to go ahead and kick the tire. There we go. Remove the right pitot cover. Move the left one. Pull the plug, or the red. Close the forward luggage door. Moving over to the right wing. Again. Giving the prop a spin. We're going to kick the tire. Oh, nope, not far enough over yet. There we go. Now we're going to kick the tire. Then we're going to remove the chock. Come up top. Check fuel and oil. I don't know why I'm getting stuttering, but I am. I actually think it's Toby. I'm starting to notice a connection here, unfortunately. Left landing light, working fine. Blinding us very successfully. Getting over to the left aileron. And you just have to mouse click. You guys saw the wheel chocks are in the storage compartment there. We'll talk about that one in just a minute. Okay, moving over to the elevator. Give the elevator the old wiggle Rudy. Remove the tail tie down. Vertical stabilizer. And that should be it. So now I'm going to go ahead and go back to our tablet view. There it goes. And we're just now going to just make sure we didn't miss anything. So checked and removed. Check, 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 removed. Removed. Checked. Removed, removed, removed. Checked, removed. Check, 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 check. And checked and removed. So great. External inspection is done. Now, a couple of views that I recommend. So first off is creating a custom view for the back door if you want to do that manually. But the bigger one is over here. Okay, so position your camera here. And the easiest way to do that is to use that checklist or the exterior inspection. Throw it outside and then manipulate your camera to this position and create a custom view. And this allows you to very easily click on the chocks if you want to bring them in and out. Okay, and then the last one, from this point, you can also turn your camera. You're able to click on the tie down. So that's easily accessible. And then if you needed to remove the wheel chock, you can. So that's that one. And then the last one is just getting to the tie down on the right wing, which I can't see because of the sun's reflection right now. Where are you? I think it's right there. You know what? Let's move this one actually a little bit forward since I'm here. There you go. Yeah, there it is. Right there. So boom. So create one of those. And let me resave this position. There we go. All right. So I do recommend those particular custom views just because it makes it a lot easier to throw your tie downs back on because that is kind of fun. Okay. So the walk around is now complete. We can now come back upstairs and flip all of our lights back off. Especially since they're all running off the battery right now. Let's see here. Test. We want to do a fire engine. Engine fire test, excuse me. I need to fix that view too. And there we go. And let's see here. So right and left hand engine fire. AOA stall test. Now I haven't found the autopilot test, guys. Again, I've only been at it for a little bit here and I'm not sure. I looked on the actual autopilot control panel. I don't see a test switch there unless it's staring me in the face and I'm missing it. And I think it's probably staring me in the face and I'm missing it somewhere anyway. But at the moment, I'm not sure where it is. So we're just going to keep on moving on. Heaters, pitot install, and then the wow test for 3 seconds. So, them. Okay, make sure alerts are cleared. There's that caution. And then the wow, we need to remove checklist. The checklist is in the way. I do wish you could drag the checklist around. Turn that on. Assuming I'm doing this right. I'm pretty sure I'm doing this right. Back to auto. Let's bring that back up. Can I? Nope. It removes it. I was hoping that maybe I could drag it, but it doesn't look like it. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so TKS. So we want to put it into the normal position. Oh, down one. Then to the high or windshield position. Then back off again. So we want to turn the backup on. Make sure the backup works. Turn it back off. And let's see here. I believe that was it for TKS. Yep. And then now we are completing the initial test. And so cross switches and master switch go to the off position. All right, so at this point, I would assume you would continue the rest of your pre-flight. You'd set everything else up as desired, luggage, etc., like that, right? So now we're going to move over to the before starting section here. Now, in order to do that, let's go ahead and talk about loading the aircraft. Let's come over here to weights. So right now we're in a passenger configuration. So this part actually works out really cool. So you can set your fuel and everything like that. You can actually just click on it and move it, move your like let's set some aft baggage. And I believe that there's currently a bug right now that it doesn't quite display correctly, but we'll check it out here in a minute. Left passenger. Let's do right passenger 1. 135 pounds. And let's do right passenger 2. At, I don't know, 160 pounds, right? Let's do a couple. Now, the cool part, right, and we can even add some forward baggage, forward baggage if we want. And the cool part is if we come back here, right, it actually populates passengers. You can see I sort of put myself here with a camera view. So I try to keep this seat empty for moi, although that's I'm really tall in this thing. Anyway, so that's kind of neat too, is it actually populates according. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to look at. Should be this one. Oh, you know what? It's because I closed the doors. That's fine. We'll look at it later. I don't think it actually populates the luggage yet. All right, so now let's get into the before start checklist. So again, we're going to do master left hand, right hand cross switches turned on, and then the left and right hand backup batteries and the tie bus on. So let's go ahead and do all that in sequence here. Master, there's the left hand, right hand cross switch, and then left and right hand backup batteries and the tie bus. Okay. There it is, everything coming to life here. Flight controls. Incorrect. Looks good. Okay, let's continue onward. All right, parking brake we know is set. We've already verified that. And throttle is at the idle position, and RPM levers are full forward. And let's see here. Circuit breakers we know are all in. External lights as required. So let's go ahead and flip up, and we are going to do strobe light and nav light. Strobe light in place of the beacon light, as this aircraft does not have one. Okay, continuing on down the line here. So we got circuit breakers, external lights, flaps go to the takeoff position for takeoff, or for engine start. I found that part to be kind of odd. I'm not quite sure why that is. And odd in just the aspect that that's new to me. Avionics, check and acknowledge.
Pause, system test. Okay.
All right, good to know. Everything else is looking good. CAS is as to be expected. And let's see here. Where are we? And AC and heaters are in the off position. Trims, verify and set. We have pitch trim in neutral. I haven't dove in yet into the proper trim settings, so we're going to take off in a neutral position. And if it makes for a bad takeoff, I want you guys to know ahead of time that clearly that would be my fault, and I will not fault the developer for that. So if I am missing something on takeoff, it's because I haven't gotten to that point of their documentation yet. So doors are all closed and locked, which is good. Okay, and the aircraft we know is fueled. And again, we're just going for a sightsee. We'll go around DM, we'll go around the boneyard and then bring it in. Okay, so now we are ready for engine start. So in order to do the proper engine start, we need to take a look at our fuel valves. So first thing we're going to do is set them according to side. So left for left, right for right. All right, so we got those set. And now auxiliary fuel pumps need to go to the on position, and ignition switches will be on. Start button will be pressed, and the throttle will go to 1,200 RPMs. Now, when you guys do this, I recommend coming down here to MFD and changing to the engine page. It makes it a lot easier to see everything. Much, much easier to see everything. So let's go ahead and again, come up top. And this time, so we want the ignition switch to go to the on position. There we go. That's what I wanted. All right. And I'm just going to do one at a time. Fuel pump. Now, it gives you the mouse click here, but it doesn't do anything. You have to use your mouse wheel. So use the mouse wheel. There it goes. Flips that on. And we're going to go ahead and get the engine started. Was I lying? Were these on the whole time? Yes, they were. I'll be damned. Well, that's my fault. All right, so here we go. Left engine monitoring. There's temperature, manifold pressure, RPMs. We're currently at 1440. I'm bringing the RPM of left engine down. Listen to that sound. Changing very nicely. Alright, so let's come back over here. I believe next step is the field switch for the left engine. And we can see alternator is generating. Amps are being generated here. Oil temperature rising. Oil PSI in the green. Fuel PSI in the green. Alright, so let's rinse and repeat for the right engine. Which I actually think I should have started first if I remember correctly, so oops. Alright, well, now that I know that I screwed that up. Oh no, that was already on. Never mind. Here we go. Alright, and again. Right alternator. Field. Amps generating on both sides. We're just watching that oil temp. You can see the caution here. Left-hand oil temp is good. Caution cleared. Keep monitoring the right-hand engine for a minute. Alright, crossfeed. So what I like to do for the crossfeed, and I hope this is right, I don't see a crossfeed switch, it doesn't look like it's electronic. So what I like to do is basically just swap sides. And the engines, if there was an issue with the crossfeed, if I'm understanding this correctly, it should present an issue. So we're going to click on that. Switch over to right. Basically have each engine get fed off the opposite tank. Okay. Right-hand oil temp still on the right, on the rise. Alright, so while we're here, we'll get into the taxi checklist here, just to sort of start getting things rolling here. So let's go to the transponder. We are flying VFR. Let's go ahead and turn the transponder on. Set that altimeter pressure. Still waiting on that right-hand oil temp. Looks like that should clear any second now. Go ahead and come upstairs and turn the taxi light on. There it goes. Good. All right. Now let's go ahead and turn our heaters on. Acknowledge. Alright, and anytime I'm flying VFR, like I said, I'm going to leave this screen up. I really like that. Alright, let's see if I can't... Alright, hopefully this goes well. Alright, I think that's okay. Alright, so for taxi, let's just go ahead and head on out here. Alright, so altimeters are set, transponder is set, air conditioning as required, passengers have been briefed, parking brake release, brakes okay, and steering okay. Alright, so let's release that parking brake. Brakes are working. Now, one of the other really cool things you can do if you guys decide it is too loud, let me go ahead and stop the plane for just a second because I got to go over to the tablet. Go to options, you can simulate wearing headphones. That's our runway right there, so I'm going to go ahead and stop it here for our run-up. Alright, so for the run-up, parking brake is set, ignition instruments, or engine instruments, ignition instruments, are all in the green, except for the oil PSI is a little low. Fuel selectors are checked and normal, we know that. Oh, it does say oil temp can be, or oil PSI can be in the yellow. Alright, so let's see here. We actually want to throttle at 1700 RPM, so here we go. Close. Now let's see what we got going on here. Press PFT 1/2 and check. Okay, that one I don't know what it is, so I don't want to burn too much time. I don't know what PFT is. PFC, Pilot Flying Command, I would think. Press PFT 1/2 and check. Oh, hey, wait. There we go. Now what this does yet, I don't know. But I pressed it. Okay. And then propellers, we need to cycle 3 cycles. Alright, call that good. And throttle lever, 1000 RPMs or 1500 RPMs with AC running. Right about there. Alright, I think we're good. Alright. So let's start. Whoa. Gosh, man. You know, I'm going to use Toby as little as possible today. I just keep noticing weird performance every time I start to use it. I gotta get my new Track IR camera. My Track IR camera died. And it just bummed me out, man. Alright, so we've got our ATIS, we've got our winds, we've got our clearance, we've got our takeoff. Trims are set, flaps are set. Prime TKS before Ficky. I don't know what that is either. First in, it's gotta be something. I don't know. I don't know what that one is yet. Auxiliary fuel pumps, I do believe, are still on from engine start. They are. Okay. Pitot stall heaters as required, but we go ahead and turn them on. Landing lights. Let's go ahead and put those on. Transponder needs to be set to altitude. Okay. Cast matrices, pilot flying, checked. They're okay. Oil temperature, less than 150 degrees. Or greater than 150 degrees, excuse me. They are, it is indeed. And air conditioning and heat is off. Okay, let's take our runway. The nice thing about this checklist card is, like, it just seems to be in a really good spot where it doesn't seem to be too disruptive. Alright, so here we go. My first ever takeoff with this aircraft. This should be cool. So far, I'm really enjoying everything about the aircraft. The startup procedure is fun. The handling of it is great. The sounds are fantastic. Alright, so throttles and propellers are going to be full forward. Instruments are going to be checked. Rotation speed is going to be between, let's see here, 75, 73, or 72 knots based on weight. Now we're a bit heavier, so let's see here. I would expect, based on this, what, 85 knots, if that. Between 80 and 85 knots looks like I should get rotation. Flaps up at the safe height. Auxiliary fuel pumps. Okay, safe altitude, they go to auto. Weather radar will get turned on. Although we don't need the weather radar today, so I won't worry about that. I don't know what Ficky is. I really don't know what that means. Okay, so here we go. Slowly advancing the power levers. Last little sound right there was kind of weird, but airspeed alive. There's like 80 knots rotating. RPM's back. Flaps coming up. Whoa. That changed things. Alright, let's see if I can do this while flying. Boost pumps to auto. All right. noisy aircraft outside. Holy crap. Alright, so we're not going very high. I'm going to put the checklist down for a minute. So it feels very heavy in the controls, and I like that. Every action that you make with the control stick is going to be very intentional. I'm not fighting it. I am using my trim wheel and adjusting things as we get rolling here. Auto, interesting. But it flies great. This is a superly? I'm just making words up now. A super experience. Some of the stuttering, guys, that you guys are seeing is very likely to the fact that I am also running the latest sim update beta. Really nice aircraft. By the way, you guys, this can be picked up on Aerosoft's website, I believe, at the moment for $35 US, right around there. Very reasonably priced for what it is. You have multiple different variants of the aircraft. You have cargo versions of the aircraft. You have medical transport, passenger transport. For the cargo variants, cargo will appear where the passengers are as you load. You also want to make sure that you're paying attention to your center of gravity when loading cargo. This thing's awesome. I really like the way it flies. It's very smooth. Both sides, just very, very steady, very, very smooth. Everything's very gentle. So max roll responses here. Just very easy. We're going to be making a wide entry into the, we'll extend out a little bit and then we'll come in for a straight in approach on the 1-1 left again where we took off. Yeah, the stuttering is bad right now. Gosh, that's terrible. I don't know what that's about. I hope you guys don't see that in the recording, but something tells me you do. Usually if I'm seeing it, you're seeing it. the CPU priority defaulted, so maybe that was part of it too. See if that doesn't help anything. Alright, let's bring up our handy dandy checklist again. Yeah, no, I shouldn't be stuttering this much. I never study this much at my hometown. Alright, so let's flip it over. And let's see what we got going on here. Alright, so ATIS information is checked. RPM's bringing them back. Auxiliary fuel pumps. Back to on. Landing lights are on. Air conditioning and heating systems are off. Flaps below 124 knots. We can go to takeoff position. Props full forward. One, 2, 4 knots. Flaps takeoff. Oh, that pitched the nose up, didn't it? Let's trim nose down a little bit. Hard to see with that engine there, and there's Black Mountains, so we should be close. Need to turn wider or tighter. Oh, mercy. Missed that one by a long shot. Yeah, I'm really not liking Toby. I just can't ever get it set up the way I like it. And I have to work on that so I can get my camera views right. Alright, so let's see here. We're in close here. Alright, so below 119 knots, we've got landing flaps. Trimming those down. Very shallow approach. Definitely too low. Alright, we'll make it work. It's better than my usual space shuttle approaches. Crap, I never turned it up, set that to norm. Whoa, baby. Terrible approach. Gosh, terrible, 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 terrible. That was way too low. Alright, props back to full. I'm just trying to stick the numbers now. Not early. Not early. Come on. Ah, early. Alright. Not one of my better landings, and yet at the same token, I really enjoy doing it with this aircraft. Alright, so flaps up. Let's get that going right now. I love the engine sounds. Love the engine sounds. Alright, we've cleared the runway. Let's take a look at things since I decided to mess that up. Heaters off. TKS off. I don't think I needed the TKS on. It's part of the anti-ice if I remember correctly. But it was kind of fun to flip a switch, so why not? Weather radar was already off. Auxiliary fuel pumps. Off. And, oh, landing lights, yes. Okay. And I'm going to stop Toby again because it's driving me crazy. So, first off, you guys, this is an incredible aircraft. It is very, very well done. I love all the features on it, and if you guys haven't been following along for a long time, I have been absolutely over glass cockpit aircrafts. I've just been kind of burnt out on them. We had so many of them for so long, and this was a very, very nice addition. It's nice to see this aircraft here. I'm very glad that that FlightSim Studios put this one out, because this was a ton of fun. This is a really, really cool plane. Feature rich, feels good, flies good, sounds are great. Startup process and checklists and documentation that comes with it and the provided information was right on par. You're getting a lot for the cost of this aircraft. You really are. The multiple different variants, the different animations, the different configuration changes based on those different variables, your weights, your payloads, your cargo versus med versus passenger. You get a lot of information or a lot of different options, so it makes it a lot of fun. Alright, so let's complete this here. Parking brake is set. Okay, exterior lights as required. We can actually do, let's see here. So first off, transponder. Set that back to standby. Flaps are up. Pitot install heaters are turned off. TKS is off. Weather radar is off. Auxiliary fuel pumps is turned off. Transponder as required. Taxi lights. We can actually turn those off now as well. Exterior lights in general can be turned off now while we're up there. So let's keep working our way down. Let's see here. Parking brake is set. Exterior lights are off. Heaters and ACs are off. Throttle levers are down to 1,000 RPMs. Actually, I think they're a little bit below. They're 130 RPMs. Okay, ignition switches. Let's go ahead and flip them to the off position. At this point, we should be able to do this. Nope, we can't. I lied. That's going to bring the engines off. There we go. All right, ignition switches are off. Doors and safety locks. Let's go ahead and come on over here to our tablet. Make things a little bit easier. Open. And I think that's all I needed for this particular state. What options do we have here? Nope, that's just that. All right, come over here. All right, and let's see here. Exterior lights, throttle levers, ignition switches, doors and safety locks. All electrical switches are off. Let's come up top. So we're just going to work our way through sort of the same that we did. So first start with the field. Backup batteries, tie bus, and master switch. Beautiful. Okay, and the last thing that we will do here. All right, so all electrical switches are off. Circuit breakers are checked. Flight controls lock if necessary. Cabin is clear. Wheel chocks. All right, let's start working our way through the exterior here. So I'm just going to start out here and show you guys what I meant earlier. We need to make sure we pop this door open. And if you pop this door open, it'll open up the other door there. So we come back over here. Put all our wheel chocks in place. Remember I was telling you earlier about the tie down? Pop right over there. Boom. Then we're going to step over here and go boom. Turn around so we can see the tail. Boom. And then the last thing would be going up to the cockpit, flight deck, putting your reds in. I promise I'll fix that camera view. Okay, so all of our reds are in, tie downs are in place, wheel chocks are in place, parking brake is set, pitot covers are on, cabin doors, yep, everyone's exiting, wings, tie downs, ATC flight plan, notify if required. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's put our checklist away and let's exit the aircraft. I hope you guys have absolutely enjoyed this video. This was an absolutely perfect aircraft. I really enjoyed everything about it. This is a good aircraft, especially for the price. So let me know what you guys' thoughts are on the Tecnam P2012 Traveler from FlightSim Studios. As always, folks, stay safe and healthy. I'll see you in the next one.